Welcome into OutKick the Show, Monday edition of the program. Do we have anything to talk about? I think the answer is yes. Grab your popcorn. Go sign up for the OutKick VIP right now. You'll be glad that you did. And by the way, if you haven't already signed up for OutKick VIP, you have no idea what you're missing. You're missing access to Jason Whitlock and myself. The ability to comment on all of our articles, an awesome message board, and the ability to call my radio show. Plus, you help to join the spectacular growth that we are seeing in OutKick on a day-to-day basis. You, my friends, can be well on the way to being an OutKick VIP. Let me tell my tech team, hopefully I'm facing the right way on this camera. If you saw Saturday, we had a side angle look, and I looked amazing on that one too. If I need to stop or restart, just text me, tech team. Otherwise, we are off and officially underway here. And I am, let me make sure that we don't have any, looking good. All right, everything's looking good this time. We're face on. I'm ready to roll, all right? Some of you are just seeing the brand new studio for the first time. We've only had this for a couple of days, but I am super excited about it. Right off the top here, we got double Monday Night Football games because of Cam Newton testing positive for COVID. And I like the over in the Falcons game on the road against the Packers. And I like both of these teams, the Chiefs and the Packers, on the money line. I'm pairing it with the Braves, believe it or not, to win their series against the Marlins. Pretty good payout there. Go make your bets at fanduel.com/Clay. Lots of people have been asking me what happens. First of all, you can gamble every day if you go to fanduel.com/Clay and you live in Pennsylvania, you live in New Jersey, you live in West Virginia, Indiana, Illinois, Colorado, and Iowa. All 7 of those states, you go to fanduel.com/Clay right now, you get $1,000 to gamble with. But Michigan and Tennessee are about to go live in the near future. What day exactly, we don't know, but that is trending very soon. And so if you live in those states, you go ahead and sign up. You get notified the minute you can place live bets. So you might as well go ahead and roll into fanduel.com/Clay. Get signed up right now. All right, let's get into it. NFL, college football, but we begin with Donald Trump announcing that he is leaving the Walter Reed Medical Hospital at 6:30 Eastern today. This is significant because it's yet another loss for the Corona Bros. I sat here and told you that the data reflected that the president was going to be fine, like the data reflects that the vast majority of people, regardless of age, are going to be fine. I'll hit you with these numbers again. People get mad at me because I actually sell facts and I don't sell fear porn, which is what the majority of the media actually sells. So let me hit you with this. If you actually get infected with the coronavirus and you are between the ages of 0 and 19, do you know what your recovery rate is? 99.997%. If you are between the ages of 20 and 49, do you know what your recovery rate is? 99.98%. If you are 70 or younger, do you know what your recovery rate is? 99.5%. So the vast majority of Americans, regardless of age, have nothing to fear from the coronavirus, even if they get it based on the most recent CDC data. If you are over 70, you still have a 94.6% chance to recover. This virus is not very dangerous for the vast majority of Americans. And so the president was fine. He beat COVID in a couple of days. Like I told you on Friday, the data reflected he was likely to do. And all the Corona Bros are upset now. They were rooting for disaster to befall the president. Now they are upset because the president went and waved to all of his supporters, and now the Trump derangement syndrome is taking over even more, and they're mad because he's leaving the hospital and he's going to be fine. This is, again, a sign that everybody just about is fine, and it's why we need to be back at work, at school, and playing sports. And I got a data point here for you. Andrew Boston has been doing some incredible work. We've got a story up with this on it at OutKick. He has looked into 50 major universities. He has tracked all of the reported infections that they have had at those 50 major universities. Over 70,000 kids have tested positive for COVID at the 50 major universities he has tracked. Do you know how many kids have been hospitalized? 3. The number 3. 1, 2, 3 people out of 70,000 at 50 major colleges and universities. They have reported 70,000 positive tests. 3 kids have been hospitalized. No one has died. Compare that with the number that have had alcohol-related issues or the number that have been seriously injured in car accidents. Kids are not in danger at school. They all need to be returned to class across the entirety of the nation, from elementary school to high school to college to grad school. Everybody needs to be back in school in person. The data is clear on this. And all the people should be, including my own kids who are back in school. I got a kindergartner, I've got a 4th grader, and I got a 7th grader. And fortunately, they're all attending school in person. We are doing the same thing in our life that I'm telling you the rest of the nation should be doing. All right, bunch of different stories to get to in the world of sports. Look out, Tom Brady is on absolute fire with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Final 20 passes for Brady as he brought his team back from a 17-point deficit. They were down 24-7 early, ended up covering for us. 18 of 20, 4 touchdowns, perfect passer rating in the final 20 throws he had for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the first time in Tom Brady's career, he completed 5 different touchdown passes to 5 different receivers. That, my friends, is extraordinary. Also, I loved what I saw from Justin Herbert, particularly the pass where he saw the blitz coming, retreated backwards, dropped a dime for a 72-yard touchdown pass. This guy is the real deal. I don't see any way that Tyrod Taylor gets his job back, even though the Chargers have had a couple of tough losses back-to-back almost against the Chiefs and against the Bucs, against Patrick Mahomes and against Brady. I think they have found their quarterback of the future. I love what I'm seeing from Tom Brady, though. Right now, the Bucs should be the favorite to win the NFC South. I don't think there's any doubt at all about it. How about the Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? They gave up 39, 38, and 49 points in 3 consecutive games. The Cowboy defense is historically bad right now, and even Dak and their cadre of young receivers, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb et al., are not able to save this putrid defense right now. The entire NFC East is a dumpster fire. Leading this division right now are the Philadelphia Eagles at 1-2-1. The Cowboys are 1-3. Even odds for the Cowboys and the Eagles to both win this division at plus 100 according to FanDuel. Here's the deal. I like the Cowboys still to win the division. They shouldn't get an automatic bid. They shouldn't get a playoff bid at all in the NFC East. But to me, it looks like the Cowboys are going to be the team that is able to end up winning. If you look at the schedules, we'll be talking about this on Fox Bet Live in a little bit. But the number one story here is firing Jason Garrett hasn't changed very much at all. The Cowboys are still incompetent. Congrats to Browns fans who were sitting there looking around saying, wait a minute, we're 3-1. We're actually in the mix, not just to make the playoffs, but maybe to contend in the NFC North. Odell Beckham Jr. looks like a new player. I loved how fast he looked on that reverse where he went for 50-plus yards to end the game. He is playing lights-out football. Baker Mayfield's starting to look better. Congrats to you long-suffering Browns fans, and congrats to the long-suffering Cincinnati Bengals fans, because I told you this. I've been saying it for a while. I love Joe Burrow. I believed in Joe Burrow after watching him play last year 3 times in person. I saw him beat Alabama. I saw him beat Georgia. I saw him beat Clemson. And the way that Joe Burrow saw the field and the way he maneuvered in the pocket was Tom Brady-esque, and that is high praise indeed. I loved everything I saw about him. He got his first win as an NFL quarterback. I think if he can stay healthy, he's going to have a lot more of those. Bengals fans, you should be ecstatic about how good your young quarterback is looking. A couple of other NFL stories. I never would have believed it. I was wrong about him. Josh Allen is on absolute fire for the Buffalo Bills. He's coming to my town theoretically on Sunday to play against the Titans. I watched most of this game against the Raiders, and this dude has remade his game, and he has become right now, one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. I love everything that I am seeing for Josh Allen and from the Bills. They're not the same team that they were last year. The Bills last year couldn't score, but they had a really good defense. This year, the Bills are capable and have been putting up 30 on everybody. I'm curious what they're going to do this weekend against the Titans, but suddenly, Josh Allen, Bills Mafia, be ecstatic. You have got yourselves an absolute stud. All right, let's run into what we learned in college football. Alabama, still a big gap between Alabama and Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher is making $7.5 million a year. He's now in year 3, working towards $22.5 million guaranteed, and his team got absolutely gouged. Mac Jones averaged 16.1 yards per pass attempt. The Bama wide receivers, even with Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs gone, are still absolute studs, and they picked apart this Texas A&M defense. And as a result, it has now been 8 years since Johnny Manziel went into Tuscaloosa and emerged with a victory. 8 straight losses for Texas A&M. They play Florida this weekend, and I'm not very optimistic about A&M's chances in that game because I believe Kyle Trask should be your leader right now for the Heisman Trophy. 10 touchdown passes, only 1 interception. He's playing in Dan Mullen's offense. You know they're going to score a lot of points. They're going up against Texas A&M this weekend. I think a lot of people are going to take note of Kyle Trask in a way they have not so far in games against South Carolina and in games against Ole Miss. This is Kyle Trask's moment to start to play in super big games on the road against A&M and College Station. I think he's going to have a really good performance in this one. He is my Heisman Trophy leader right now. How about my University of Tennessee Volunteers, baby? They have won 8 games in a row, and all of a sudden, everybody out there who was critical of Jeremy Pruitt has gone silent as the University of Tennessee now has the longest current winning streak in a Power 5 conference. They have won 6 straight SEC games for the first time since the year 2000. 20 years since they've done this, and people can say they haven't beaten a lot of good teams, but the first thing you have to do when you are starting to grow as a program is you have to be able to beat the lesser lights in your conference before you can take on the heavyweights. Tennessee in their last 8 has beaten South Carolina twice, Missouri twice, Vanderbilt. They've beaten Kentucky. They are substantially better than the bottom tier teams now in the SEC. They were losing to those teams. They're not losing anymore. Are they ready to step it up against Georgia and be competitive? I'll give you an early blood bank guarantee. Tap the veins. I'm giving it to you on Monday. I love the Vols plus 14 on the road against Georgia. I think it's going to be a low-scoring, relatively speaking, physical game, and the Vols have the horses to keep it within 2 touchdowns. Not saying they're going to win, but I think it's a close game in Athens, much closer than 2 touchdowns. How about the SEC Power Rankings? I have got the SEC Power Rankings for you. This is pretty crazy when you actually break it down. Were you aware, because I bet a bunch of you were not, you aware there's only 4 teams left that are undefeated in the SEC? Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee. And it's not a surprise that those are the top 4 in my SEC Power Rankings 1 to 14. I've got Alabama 1. I've got Georgia 2. I've got the Gators, Florida 3. Tennessee 4. And then it kind of gets messy. I've got Auburn in the 5 spot. Ole Miss in the 6 spot. Texas A&M at 7. Arkansas at 8. Mississippi State at 9. LSU at 10. South Carolina at 11. Kentucky at 12. Vandy at 13. Missouri at 14 overall. Now, a couple of things that stand out. How about that first win for Lane Kiffin on the road against Kentucky? They came back from a big deficit, missed extra point in overtime. Guess what happened? Our boy Joey Freshwater went on the road in the Bluegrass and got a win, big win for Ole Miss as they get ready for Alabama this week. By the way, did you see Kentucky's coach chasing down the officials after this game? He is starting to lose everything about his comportment, starting with that missed call against Auburn. I actually thought Kentucky got the benefit of the doubt on a play that I thought that Ole Miss actually scored on. They took it off the board. Seemed like a makeup call from last week to me. But Mark Stoops is starting to lose his mind a little bit. And Kentucky, you have to start to get a little bit nervous. They play against Mississippi State this weekend. Speaking of Mississippi State, how about Mississippi State going from the penthouse, they beat LSU, to the outhouse, they lose against Arkansas. First win for the Razorbacks in the SEC since October 28th of 2017. How wild is that? Arkansas gets the win. Props to their defensive coordinator, Barry Odom. Props to their new head coach who found a way, Sam Pittman, to get a win even when no one believed it was possible. They, at Arkansas, were expected to go potentially 1-9 or maybe even 0-10 again after 20 straight losses. Call the Hogs, get those fingers twirling. Woo pig suey, indeed, big win for the Arkansas Razorbacks as they end their 20-game losing streak. So that is my SEC power rankings. What about the big picture nationwide with everything that's going on in college football? Oklahoma. What's going on with Oklahoma? They lose their second straight to begin Big 12 play. They have lost to Kansas State and Iowa State. First loss in Ames for Oklahoma in 60 years. Huge win for Iowa State. I loved the celebration that I saw from Iowa State in the locker room. I retweeted it. Congrats to the Cyclones for getting the win. But what's up with Oklahoma? Spencer Rattler was supposed to be next in the line right after Baker Mayfield, right after Kyler Murray, right after Jalen Hurts. It was plug and play for Oklahoma, and they won. And we knew how this story ended. Oklahoma, under Lincoln Riley, won the Big 12 and then went to the playoff and lost. Now the Big 12 is on the ropes. The only undefeated team in the Big 12 right now is, wait for it, Mike Gundy and his mullet. We've got the Red River rivalry going on, the shootout, whatever you want to call it, going on this weekend between Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma's a 2-point favorite. I like the over in this game more than I like anything, to be quite honest. But the Big 12 has almost played their way out of the college football playoff, and we're just getting started. Here is my OutKick Top 10. For everybody out there who's like, man, Clay, you're brilliant. You're a genius. I need to know who you think the best teams are in college football right now. Well, guess what? You're in luck. I've got Bama 1, Georgia 2, Clemson 3, Florida 4, Notre Dame 5, Miami 6, the Tennessee Volunteers 7, BYU 8, Oklahoma State 9, and the University of Cincinnati 10. Some of you are saying, why don't you have any Big 10 schools or any Pac-12 schools? I only rank teams based on what we've seen them do on the field. So if you haven't played yet, I don't rank your team. I actually think that's the way all rankings should go. Once the other schools start to play in the Big 10 and Pac-12, they should be able to be ranked, but not until then. We have got a major catastrophe going on in the NBA. I keep updating you on this because nobody else will. Guys, this is unbelievable. The NBA Game 2, which aired on Friday, the Heat against the Lakers, only had 4.5 million viewers. Last year's Game 2 between the Warriors and the Toronto Raptors had 13.9 million viewers. That means just shy of 70% of all NBA viewers have abandoned the league and are not watching this year's finals. And it's not because on Friday there were a ton of other options on television either. The only major sporting event that was airing, and it had not that big of an audience in the grand scheme of things, was Game 3 between the Padres and the Cardinals. So everybody is abandoning the NBA in massive numbers, and I believe it's because this league, more than any other, has gotten woke and gone broke. And the fact that very few people out there in the media will even share the basic facts with you is evidence of how many people out there protect the NBA and other woke leagues because they don't want it to have to answer difficult questions about what a collapsing ratings look like in a league like that. Speaking of the opposite of collapsing, do you know who has made you more money than you could possibly want? If you have been betting my NFL picks, we've been giving you an OutKick six-pack every single Friday for the last 3 weeks. I've come on, I've given you the OutKick six-pack. By the way, We've got an official vodka, Dixie Vodka. The fact that there is not a beer that has stepped up to the plate and said, hey, we want to be a part of the OutKick family, we should be sponsoring your OutKick six-pack, is mind-blowing, because the OutKick six-pack went 5-1 2 weeks ago. It went 5-1 last week. And this week we are at 4-1 with the over in tonight's Falcons-Packers game. Right now we are on the season with the OutKick six-pack, 14-3. You should go right now and sign up at FanDuel.com/Clay, just because I'm giving away free money here. FanDuel.com/Clay. Also, you should go sign up to the OutKick VIP and say thank you, Clay Travis, for giving so many gifts to the people, for being such a generous, forgiving, thoughtful, wonderful human being. 14-3 in the last 7 in the NFL. We've just been okay on the college football picks, but the Blood Bank Guarantee did cash last week with Saturday's over hitting in Iowa State hosting Oklahoma. Final thoughts here as we close out the Monday edition of the program. I just want to say one more time, thank you for all of the support you are giving to OutKick. I've never seen anything growing faster than what we're doing at OutKick right now. It's because of you guys. I am excited, exhilarated about where we are headed. It is so much fun to think about and be able to follow. You guys are the reason why we are succeeding on so many different levels in such a tremendous degree. I saw the numbers. I tweeted it out. Our podcast in this past September set another record, but our podcast was up over 360% in downloads off last year. 360%. I guarantee you there is nobody else in the world of sports that has an audience like we do that has been growing like we are, and that's because of you guys. Go ask Mark Cuban what he thinks about those NBA ratings tanking and what he thinks about your boy exploding. Love to hear a thought from him. I love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. This has been OutKick the Show. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. Thank you for all of the great feedback on our new set design and everything else. We are building out these sets in Jason Whitlock's house and a lot of other places, as well as we are adding many more talent. You can be a part of our tip of a spear of our charge by going and signing up for the VIP at OutKick.com/VIP. I love all of you. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. Kisses. Oh, let me just hit you with this, too, on the way out. Some of these people are driving me insane with their stupidity, and I just want to hit you with this. I tweeted about this earlier. Some of the media, a.k.a. many of the media, have completely lost their minds. And in particular, did you see this guy who tweeted, Ben Tracy, I felt safer reporting in North Korea than I currently do reporting at the White House. This is just crazy. Ben Tracy. How about a big fat DBAP for you? You cover the news at the White House. I think you're going to be fine, bud. And there's no way to compare anything in America to North Korea, you imbecile. I love all of you. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. My name is Clay Travis. This has been OutKick the Show. Kisses for the haters. Thanks for making me richer every single day. I couldn't do it without you. See y'all. Bye.